And thank you for coming to Dibs and Nails for this world, where I'm coming from Atlanta, Georgia, giving you the Young and the Restless recaps and reviews for today, January the 23rd, which is Monday. Alrighty, guys, let's go right on into it. We have Devon sitting down on his penthouse step, looking at his phone of the photo of him and Hillary when a knock comes at the door. But instead of him going to the door, since he's the only one there, he tried to go back upstairs. I'm like, really? Really, Devon? Is that what you're going to do? You don't sat down and whine and moping. If you want to keep the little homie wife in your life, go on and gape her, okay? Stop fronting. She hurt you. Yeah, you got in an accident because you got angry. Yeah, you're living. So make up your mind. Be with her or be without her. It's your choice, man. Nobody's going to fault you for just loving someone that's self-loving of themselves and can hardly think about someone else's feelings. It just is what it is. You like what you like. But anyway, he finally come on down the stairs and go to the door, and he finds his father Neil there, and he's bearing all kinds of goodies and treats. Okay, Devon really don't want to let him in the house, but he comes on anyway. Then they get to talking, and Devon abruptly tells Neil that he threw Hillary out last night. So yes, he's been by himself for 24 hours, and he's been doing okay. Okay. And then Neil looked surprised, like, what? And you didn't call nobody? And this, that. I'm like, yeah, he's being a poor excuse as a man. He's hurting from his injuries and he's hurting in his heart. But he says he's okay. All right, go figure. Moving on. Then we go to Hillary. Hillary runs to the athletic club to enlist help from Lily. And I'm still baffled. I'm like, couldn't you have run to Lily last night, even though she probably would have been in the bed? But you still could have ran to her residence, which is still the athletic club, got her up and said, Devon, your brother threw me out. He's by himself. I don't think he needs to be by himself. Da 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 da. But you went and spent somewhere, maybe in a close hotel around there, motel, and you got yourself all comfy, went to sleep, because you showed you looking no kind of distress, like you had lost some sleep. So you got a good night rest, and then you're gonna just mosey on over there, stroll on over there, and tell Lily, "Hey, your brother threw me out last night. I think you need to check on him." Really? But he wants to come back to you, and he's feeling guilty about everything. And you don't sat, got you a good night rest, then got dressed up, looking like, oh, you could be in a fashion show, and you're gonna say, "Oh, I think you need to go check on your brother." I'm like, really? Is that what they do when a person is truly worried about somebody? Whoo, your actions, Hillary, your actions. But it doesn't stop Lily from getting into tearing into her ass just for a few minutes, and then she rushes off to go see how Devon is doing. Okay, then Lauren is meeting with an investor called Craig. She thought she had solidified the relationship or the new partnership. Craig goes on and lets her down and say after, well, he could have let her down before she started the speech of accepting him into her company and this, that, and the third, when in actuality he had said, oh no, I just went with someone else. That someone else happens to be Jack. Go figure that one out. Okay. So Lauren is kind of bad with her. She's having a little talk with her. We leave from that situation. We go to Phyllis. Phyllis runs into Jack at the athletic club and wants to know why was he meeting with Gloria. Okay. Leave that situation. We go to Paul. Paul is worried about Dylan. He hasn't checked in the last 12 hours, and he really is feeling something's going on. We go to commercial. We come back. Phyllis is still drilling into Jack about meeting with Gloria. Jack is also asking Phyllis, well, what about the meeting she had when Ashley saw them at some club or some other restaurant, and she was meeting with Robbie, which is the person that's working for him in the IT department. Okay. Then Jack just goes on to tell Phyllis, hell, me and Gloria are dating. I'm like, Jack, you couldn't have thought of something else better than that. I mean, couldn't you have just said Gloria's looking for a job or some other type of excuse? But you're going to come up with a lame excuse that even a blind man would not believe. Okay. Anyway, moving on from there, we have Lawrence trying to find out from this Craig why he is not going to invest with them. And He goes on to say he has to, he had a better offer from somebody else, and he had to go by the cost, the checks and balances, and he really felt he's going to get a good, solid revenue stream from this other venture than dealing with her. And that's pretty much how he put it. He wouldn't give her who the person was, that, and the third, or was it one of her competitors. He wouldn't even go that far. But anyway, she wished him well. They moved on. Then we went back to Devon. Devon is explaining to Neil about how he initially had found out about the truth of what happened after his accident or after he left the benefit. He goes on talking about, where Mariah was filling in the blanks. She didn't know she was filling in the blanks, but everything was making sense to him and he was connecting the dots. And that's pretty much how he found out about his accident. Then he goes and get on into his dad about not telling him, letting him go through all this little fake fraudulent routine that Hillary's always there for him and this, that, and the third. And she was the cause of his anger to make him go out there and do what he did, which, no man or no woman should ever get that mad where they go and put their lives in danger as well as other people. So, he's kind of mad at everybody. He's mad at his dad. He's mad at his sister Lily. He's mad at Kane because he felt that his family should have been telling him the truth regardless of what being the doctor said. Okay. So then Neil is telling Levon he had his best interest at heart. And he was going by what being the doctor had said to not stress him out because they didn't know how you were going to be able to handle that type of stress. And that your memory was going to be coming back slowly, not like ASAP after you leave the hospital. And then we go to Hillary. Hillary is saying Devon might be having a setback. Oh, excuse me, y'all, for yawning. Oh, I didn't take my nap today, and I was off, but I was in the street running errands and doing things with my daughter. You know how it goes, appointments, doctor's appointments, and stuff. But anyway, back to the story. She's just saying he might have had a setback, but she ain't there to really say that may be true or not because he threw her out last night. Of course, Little was like, "Well, praise the Lord, it's some new good news coming out of this mess." So, but Devon has been at home all alone by himself, no one by his side. Spent the whole night and morning, and you still worried about him. But I'm like, yeah, Hillary, let's just go on past you because you full of nonsense as usual. Then we go to Christine. Christine, Kevin are trying to convince Paul to calm down. Paul saying Dylan was good, but he don't know why he hasn't heard from him, within after them 12 hours. Then Kevin has an auto file and Dylan, and he's letting Paul and Christine know about it. So they listen, to go to commercial. They listen to it and stuff, and then we go to commercial, come back, we have Jack and Gloria still making, like they're dating in front of Phyllis till Phyllis leaves, and then they go cracking up. Well, Gloria cracks up about it. Jack just nauseated about what came out of his mouth. Okay. Then we have Jack sees Hillary at the bar, and Hillary tells Jack Devon knows. Devon knows everything. And she didn't get a chance to tell him because he was saying that he didn't want to hear it. He just wanted a new life with her after the accident. Everything is forgiven that was in the past, da 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 da. But he didn't really know the past that needed to be forgiven, that he's going to have to think hard and long about that forgiving. Okay. But she feels that she's lost them and, there's no hope. Then Lily has finally made it to Devon and she's listening to him and his story about how he found out, why they didn't tell him, what he did to Hillary, and how he kicked her out and this, that, and the third. Then Devon says to Neil and Lily, his marriage to Hillary has got to end because he don't even like the person he has turned into, and he knows she has a lot to do with it. But he's just like, cry me a river. I'm like, pull out the violin strings and just stroke them up and down with your hands moving on the strings to make some type of noise because, Devon is just giving us Cry Me a River, at his best. Then we go to commercial. We come back. We have Devon is holding Hillary in his picture, their wedding picture, and looking at her so lovingly. Okay. Then Lily agrees with Devon decision. He said, yes, you need to leave her. You need to move on, this, that, and that. Lily has always been on her bandwagon about, let's get rid of Hillary, okay? She's been trying it for several years. It hadn't transpired yet. Then Neil doesn't want to agree with Devon's decision about ending his marriage, at least for not now. He's telling him to slow down, get over the anger, see what's left after that anger. And if it's still a situation where you cannot live with a woman like this, then so be it. But don't make, rush and harsh decisions when you're angry. I mean, look at what you did before you had car accident. You know what I'm saying? So just, put a minute on that decision about leaving Hillary. So then Neil takes Lily and tells Devon that they're gonna give him some alone time. And really, the only thing he wants to do is just leave so he can go talk about his son behind his back. Then we go back to Jack and Hillary. They still making small talk about Devon. Jack telling her not to give up. All is not lost. He just needs some time alone to really think things out. And Hillary like, no. Hillary's telling Jack that everything was good until Devon started remembering everything. And, then she thinks their relationship is hopeless. Then she goes and talk about, well, he wanted to have a baby, Jack, and believe it or not, I wanted to too. Now, that's unselfish love, right? But I guess I never experienced it, going all that kind of crap. And then we leave that situation. We go to Phyllis. Phyllis tells Lauren, Jack and Gloria are seeing one another. She said she need a drink. And then, what do you call it? Lauren is, toying with that ideal of what she just spoke. And she's like, oh, no, yeah, no, what could it be? I'm like, Lauren, you need to have another drink too, okay? Then we leave that situation. We go to Paul. Paul is ready to go to Miami and get Dylan. And Cricket is worried. And she's saying, no, 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 let's just wait for the authorities to tell us what's what out there. Then we go from there. We have Lawrence asking Phyllis, why is she worried about if Jack and Gloria are dating? And she asks Phyllis, are you jealous, honey? And then she goes on to say, I know I don't really think they are jealous. I mean, they're dating one another, but it makes me wonder, are you, if he were with anybody other than Gloria, would you be jealous? And she thought, no, no. If it was somebody worthy of him or and real nice, no, I would step aside because he's a good man. He needs to have that in his life. And I'm like, Phyllis, stop lying, okay? Then we move on from there. She goes on to tell, Lauren goes on to tell Phyllis that their only option right now on the table that she can really only think about is Jack. We might well go and see Jack. And Phyllis said, are you sure this is your baby's, your dad is competent, honey? Are you sure? Because he might do exactly what you say. Won't give you no insight, won't let you have no capability of running it and no insight of how it should be continually run. And and she's like, I don't know, what's the other options? They and Lauren just put it to, we have no more options, okay? Everybody has just been leaving me like flies on a piece of shit, and it's just getting on my nerves. So it is what it is. So they both consider on going to see Jack and see if his proposal is still on the table. You know what I'm saying? So then we go to Cricket. Cricket is trying to wait for due process. That's what she basically telling Paul is to wait for the law to do their job, and then we can step in. Won't have any infractions on cracking this case. And Paul said, "Fuck that," and I don't want to hear it no more. This is my son we talking about. I'm leaving. So then we have Lauren and Phyllis are going over to the Jabot office and stuff, and they run into Craig coming out of Jack's office. And they trying to figure out, well, why are you here? And he's like, well, why are you here? And he goes on to tell Lauren, after she finished letting him have it and stuff, that hey, he had to go with the better deal. And now yes, I'm going in business with Jack and this, that, and the third, and it just is what it is. So go to commercial, we come back. We have Lily still fussing at Neil about not supporting his son's decision in front of his face and just let him get over it. And then, Neil was saying, hey, you want Devon to make his own decision because he make it just abruptly right now. Later on down the road, he's gonna regret his decision, and somehow we gonna get in the mix of all of it, like we were there pushing it and this, that, and that. And we don't want to be in that situation. You really don't want to be in that situation. So she kind of agreed with Neil, but she's still like, okay, but at least we're on the same boat that yes, Hillary needs to be out of his life. So we leave that situation and we go to Devon. Devon is thinking about his marriage and, this, that, and the third. And really, do he want to give it up? Is it best to give it up? He's just toying with all these different ideas throughout his head. And then, guess who come knocking at the door, y'all? It's Hillary, honey. Hillary is at the door. She lets herself in because he don't know what to do with her. He don't. He don't know what to love her, divorce her, fuck her, kick her, slap her, throw up against the wall, have rough sex, or just say, go on, girl, I don't want you no more. Any of those ideas was probably flowing through his head, but, he just let her in, and then she went on and just talking because he was like, you should have checked my family. My family could have told you I was doing fine. You don't have to come check on me, girl. This, then the third. But in his heart of hearts, he was loving every minute of it. And then she just told him, look, honey, I know you don't love me no more. I know you don't want me no more. And I'm just going to make it very easy for you because I do love you and I do care about you. Go on with the divorce. I won't fight anything. It's just going to be a cut and dry thing. And that's pretty much why she left behind. Then we go back to Lauren and Jack. They still fussing about him sabotaging all her investors and da 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 da. And she's wanting everything in writing of what he said he's going to do for the company and what he's not going to do for the company. And he said, okay, it's just a formality. It's going to be as what I said, but you're going to have to commit. You're going to say you want us to make this thing work. Okay. So she leaves him and said, I don't know. I have to wait. I have to read over the contract and then it'll still be my decision whether I want. She's just playing hardball. And Lauren knows she ain't got a pot to piss in and a window to sling it out of. I mean, she need to get for real. Anyway, we read that situation. We go to Paul. Paul gets a call from Miami PD and they tell Paul, no, Dylan is not found. But there was a lot of blood everywhere. There was a lot of empty gun shells everywhere, and et cetera, et cetera. And Paul's looking dim and stuff. We go to commercial. We come back. Paul is learning from the Miami PD, but he somehow when he's finna ready to go out there to Miami to do his own little investigation and find his son and bring him back, he gets a phone call. Kevin gets a phone call from Dylan's private line. But Paul, he gives it to Paul. Paul asks, Derek, are you okay? Which is AKA for Dylan. But nobody comes on the phone. They don't say anything. So it is what it is. Okay. So Paul he just distraught. He don't know what to do. But he on his way to Miami. Okay, you can bet that. Then we have Neil and Hillary still talk to one another about Devon. And then Hillary and Devon still making small talk with one another. And that's pretty much it for the whole story. Saying everything kind of got boring after that because we know Hillary ain't true to her word. If she see him draw up some contracts over divorce and he don't took her out of everything, chocolate. As far as we really know it, she might be with child. Because I think they pretty much had sex. I want to say they did. But it is what it is. She gonna come up with some kind of pregnancy. She always roll like that. She don't never be played out. Her cards always be on deck and she play to win. Okay. But anyway, guys, that was the Young and the Restless that aired today on Monday, January 23rd, 2017. We'll be back tomorrow giving you more play by play, blow by blow, and hoping we find Dylan soon. But for to the word to the wise, they say he finna go out the show anyway. So Paul might find him, but it might be at the end of his ropes. You know what I'm saying? So somebody can safely take his body back to where his mom and dad is. You know what I'm saying? That kind of staying alive until someone gets there that knows you. All right. I think that's pretty much how it's gonna be. Because his contract don't ran out. Okay. But anyway, he don't supposed to die from what my sources say till Monday. Or maybe Paul's gonna find him, on Friday, and then they're gonna have their little ending spiel on Monday. But Dylan is supposed to be going out. And Adam is supposed to be coming back, y'all. So that's a treat, isn't it? Oh, it's like a curse and a blessing. Curse and a blessing. Like a child coming in the world for the first time and a soul that we've known and grown to love going out. I tell you, that's the way of the world. Cycle of the life. Cycle of life, guys. Take care and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye bye.